And when it comes to messaging, that was a pretty smart message. People are interested in the future. What I think is missing right now in the race, it's frankly from both sides, is a hard discussion on policy. That's actually what we need. We're less than 3 months out.
You don't think Kamala's doing a lot better at that than what we were seeing before from Biden?
I don't think she has yet given us what her clear policy positions are. I think the fact of the matter is the economic policy. I was just on CNBC this morning before I came here. They're asking me, what do you think of her economic policy? She has not articulated what her economic policies are.
Well, she wants to rebuild the middle class. She wants to make sure everybody has the
I'll give you some examples, right? Specific policies. She sued the Obama administration when she was California's attorney general for granting fracking permits. That's getting natural gas out of the ground through getting hydraulic fracturing of natural gas. Is she in favor of that now or not? Her advisors are saying she's no longer in favor of that. We don't know. Does she favor extending the Trump tax cuts? The Trump tax cuts, I think, helped a lot of people, middle class included. We just don't know whether she's in favor of that or not. And I think Republicans, by the way, are making a mistake, too. I don't think that going down the road of, I think both sides, calling the other side weird, I don't think that's productive. Now, Republican responses of personal attacks in response, I think we would be better served in this election as Americans if for the next 3 months we have a vigorous debate on policy.
So Charlamagne the God is getting schooled by Vivek Ramaswamy once again. And this is something I had, I think I had a rant about. I think a black radio host called Ricky Smiley, he went off on people saying block people who don't want to support Kamala Harris. You don't understand why blacks are against Kamala Harris, right? Yeah, we will be against someone who has no policies on their platform, right? And Charlamagne, I don't know whether to call him Charlamagne the ignorant, Charlamagne the emotional, Charlamagne I'm not going to say anything, the foolish. But he is here trying to have a discussion with Vivek Ramaswamy. And I want to zone in on the comment section here. This is funny, right? 5 minutes in, and it feels like Leonard isn't equipped to control this conversation. He's not. And this is what I was talking about with Ricky Smiley. I was saying, hey, yo, you comedians, y'all stay over there. Like, don't go into politics, bro. Y'all as uninformed as the people you slam against, right? Because y'all don't know, like, end of the day, you don't even know what your candidate is running on. When Ricky Smiley was making his argument for why I should support Kamala Harris, he was making all these arguments about her being the first black woman, her being sworn in by the first black woman Supreme Court justice. She is black. I'm just doing it by habit. Talking about how Zeta Data. I don't know these fraternities. I'm not a part of his fraternity. Divine Nine. I'm like, okay, but her policies though. And this is the funny part about it. Like, these people can't make an argument for supporting Harris without bringing Trump's name into it. And this is the problem. This is what we pointed out. This is what I pointed out in my video. And what did my detractors take from the video? The lady in your intro didn't name any of the reasons why she supported Trump. Let me ask you something. The difference between an ignorant Trump voter and an ignorant Harris voter is when the ignorant Trump voter wants to make a point of why they want to support Donald Trump, they can go to their website and pull up his policies. When you ask an ignorant Harrison supporter why they support Harris, she got no policy platform to reference. That's the difference. I rest my case. So let's get into this video of Vivek schooling them again. Let's take a look.
Lift up Americans.
Yeah, I don't think...
and we're not doing it yet.
The reason I don't like I'm not going to say I dislike the term weird. I just think it undersells a lot of the damage that Republicans are doing to this country, just labeling it weird.
But I think there's...
It's not useful. I think you want to go after the policies. Go hard in the paint. I believe politics should be about sharp elbows when it comes to policy debates. But when it comes to just saying that, oh, you're not normal, normal compared to what?
Well, I think abolishing women's...
Normal according to my worldviews and my beliefs, right? If a Christian dude call you weird because you have you let dudes have sex with you without being in a committed relationship, and he's saying, aren't you just being used for your body like a slut shaming, right? And this is the substance that is lacking in political discussions now, right? That people are, when you ask them why you supporting Kamala Harris, I don't know how many videos I have to do until I actually get an answer. I haven't gotten an answer yet. All I hear in the comment section is, oh, so you're gonna vote for a convicted felon? And you know my response is already, I'm voting for Agenda 47. But you voting for a con man? I'm voting for Agenda 47. Like, vote on the policies. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to vote on some imagination of I'm not going to vote on some imagination that my detractors or Democrats have of Trump. Trump's a racist. Can you show me an example why he's racist? Do you have any hard proof? No. All you got is she said, he said that Trump did this. Trump did Y. I can't prove that. I don't know how you know that person's not lying. Like, this is what, like, it's like people brag about not being duped, but I feel like a lot of people are being duped by this Trump derangement syndrome, and I think that's created by the media, by the way. But I digress. I cut you short, Vivek. Continue cooking.
Reproductive rights, is a little bit more than weird.
But here's where we should have the policy debate in that, because this is so interesting coming out of the Republican convention. Donald Trump, to the ire of a lot of Republicans, is opposed to a national ban on abortion.
And this is the funny part about you people on the left is y'all don't understand that Donald Trump's a moderate Republican. Yes, Donald Trump's a moderate, but y'all keep calling them far-right extremists, lying out of your A. And this is my problem with a lot of people, especially my vote blue no matter who people, a lot of them in my community, the black community, right? Is that y'all believe anything that come out of the Democratic's mouth. And then I'm like, yo, they're lying about that. How you can call half the country extremists when half the country voted for Donald Trump? How are you going to call mega extremists? Like, this is why I made a video a long time ago when I was early in this channel about Joe Biden and how I found his speech at Independence Hall divisive. And people were, these Democrats were here downvoting my videos, making fun of me, saying, oh, you caping for an extremist, fascist, racist group. And I'm like, no, that's a narrative you've been taught. You only hear one side of the narrative. You don't do your own research. Okay, why these people support mega Republicans? Instead, you rather strawman Republicans and MAGA conservatives into some imagination, some caricature that you've been essentially conditioned to think of. This is why people have such an emotional reaction when you bring up Donald Trump. How you hate a man that has who has done nothing personally to you in your life? I don't understand it. I digress.
So am I, by the way, and I said so on the Republican debate stage. I was in the minority last year when I say that I am opposed to a federal ban on abortion, just on constitutional principle. Should at least leave it to the states. That made a lot of conservatives and a lot of Republicans upset. And yet it's a weird position to now adopt, where if you do listen to a lot of the Kamala Harris campaign, they say he will sign and enact a federal ban on abortion.
Which is a lie, right? But when your candidate lies, I don't want to correct it. But Donald Trump, he exaggerates something, he makes it bigger than what it is. Oh my God, he's such a liar. You can't trust anything he says. You take his whole message because, he likes to upsell. The fact that it's weird for me, and this is one of the arguments that Charlemagne bring up, and this is why I believe Charlemagne and Ricky Smiley should stay out of politics, because they don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about women's rights. Oh, women's rights to decide what to do with her body. The conservative argument is it's not her body. Who are you to sever up the head of your kid, cut him out of your womb, and then pull him out? That's not your body. So it's not your choice. Because if your whole argument is based on my body, my choice, it's not your body. You're making a decision on someone else's body. A separate strand of DNA. Those are all biological proofs, by the way. If you say it's just a fetus, yeah, it's just your offspring, because that's what fetus means. Fetus means offspring. Offspring of who? Offspring of you, aka mom. So regardless of what you want to call your child is still your child, whether it's a fetus or a baby, right? Based on subjective. It's based on perception. That's what abortion is all about. And last time I checked, objectivity beats subjectivity. Just because you think something is doesn't mean it is. Perception isn't reality. And that's the test. Hey, if you do not touch it, what will become of this thing? It'll become a baby. It'll become a human. It'll become this. Okay, it was always that. Right? No matter if it's an apple seed will become a tree if you give it time. So you want to make these subjective view. You want to put these special conditions. Oh, it's technically not human until it's 8 weeks. Technically it's not human until it's 24 weeks. Technically it's not human until it's 6 months old. That's the conditioning. So then my argument will be, why not make it a year? Because it's still dependent on you. Your baby can't. Look, I have a 1-year-old son walking around the house. He can't fend for himself. We still got to take care of him. He's still relying on his mom. So should we be allowed to board him too? Like, should we be like, I don't want him anymore. Chuck him to the trash can. Like where's the line? And my argument is that the line is arbitrary because you're basing it on, hey, I'm basing the value of life based on my own purview. That automatically makes you at the weaker position on this argument. I'm just saying, right? This is the kind of fruitful policy discussions that I want to have. Not a bunch of name calling, not but like, oh, you voted for a felon. There's nuance to why I'm voting for the felon. His policies are better than your prosecutor.
That's actually just not true because, like it or not, he actually takes heat from many in the conservative camp for his opposition to that ban.
So why abolish Roe v. Wade? Why say things
that was a
like,
Supreme Court decision.
Why say things like you want to get rid of abortion pills? I mean, you say it's a Supreme Court decision, but he takes the credit for it. He says, I'm the reason that this happened.
Well, yeah, you take the credit because he's saying, hey, the issues got back to the states where everyone can vote on it more closely, where local elections matter more than national elections. That's how it was originally supposed to be, right? If you're very pro-abortion, if you live in California, you can make abortion all the way till 9 months if you wanted to, right? It lets everyone kind of do their own thing, right? Just like what I do in my house is how I do in my house. Hey, if I want a round table in my house, I'm allowed to have a round table in my house. If you don't want no tables in your house, you're allowed to have that in your house. That's how the states are going to operate. Abortion, they allow abortion over there. We don't do abortion over here. In Florida, I think your cutoff date is 6 weeks. You have 6 weeks to make a decision. Women are going to be more responsible over here in Florida, or you go somewhere else. Simple. Everyone can be happy in this arrangement because this issue of abortion is too divisive to put it on the federal level and try to make it a one-size-fits-all across all the states. That's why Trump takes credit for it. Where both sides should be kind of happy about this. Okay, if we convince a majority of people in a state, boom, that bill gets passed, abortion ban. If we can convince a majority of people in a certain state, boom, abortion up to 9 months. You can have it your way. It's McDonald's out here. But y'all mad because in secret, pro-choice people, how it was before, it forced all the states to have some form of abortion allowed, regardless of what the population in a certain state believed in or not. That's not oppressive to me. And then let's do the reverse argument. If there was an argument where, hey, all stuff was banned at a certain purview, let's say 2 weeks, you're only allowed to do abortion within 2 weeks. And it's a one-size-fit-all. You would have been mad. You'd be like, yo, this is not fair. But when it's the opposite way, where it forced all the states to have a minimum 15 weeks, you happy. Oh, yeah. They have to give us abortion at least 15 weeks. Across the board, you're forcing your beliefs on other people, but they don't see it that way. And this is the hypocrisy I call out about the pro-choice side. I digress.
Well, look, I think that there's a legal and constitutional question of whether the federal government should be involved in any of this in the first place.
Because that's not freedom.
I tend to come from a pretty libertarian-leaning school of thought. I want the federal government to be doing basically as little as is required to make sure the country is secure and people are allowed to live their own lives. I think Republicans can own a message even of, you know what, to the LGBT community, the gay community. You're free to marry who you want, if you want, without the government standing in your way. But that also doesn't mean that men get to compete with women in women's sports, something that's even relevant coming out of the Olympics.
I agree.
So the more we're focused on that type of policy debate, and here's a litmus test I'd give you.
That wasn't a woman, though. You got to be. That was a woman.
For the boxer, that's a more complicated case. It's intersex XY chromosome, though, right? But I'm talking about actually people who have male sex organs, people who have XY chromosomes that are competing in women's swimming competitions, right? Those are debates we ought to be able to have. And the litmus test for both sides is this. Whether you support Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, can you make the case for your candidate without actually referencing the other side?
Ooh. Let's hear it in the comment section, guys. Who is more likely to be able to make an argument without referencing the rival candidate? I mean, I could do videos about how, oh, look, I support Trump because of inflation. Look at the inflation policy that he had. He averaged 1.4% inflation throughout his term, right? We need that right now. We definitely need that. He had one of the best economies 2019. He had the best numbers. Remember, Obama was saying it was impossible to get certain job numbers, and Trump got it in 2019. Remember? Oh, well, I don't know what kind of magic wand Trump got. Someone knows the quote. Someone knows the quote I'm talking about. Obama thought it would be impossible to have the economy that we had in 2019. Yet I'm supposed to give Obama credit for Trump's economy. Get out of here. Typical political talking points. When the bad times hit, oh, it's all Trump's fault. Oh, COVID's all Trump's fault. Oh, this is all Trump's fault. But the minute something good happens in his administration, you want to try to credit the previous generation? Get out of here. I'm tired of this mess. And this is the game. This is the game of politics. Harrison supporters cannot make an argument without referencing Donald Trump in some form or fashion. This is why they run about, Project 2025. This is why they fearmonger about Project 2025, even though Donald Trump is not associated with them. It's because they got to make Trump the boogeyman. They know their voters only respond to emotional messaging. They can't have logical policy debates. That's why I'm confident. That's why I say, hey, if you do your own research, you're going to see more of my point. You're going to understand, I see why Ken would vote for Trump. I see why Kenny's so practical to the fact that even if you call his guy a convicted felon, even though you say all this stuff, Trump's racist. Well, Trump's the worst racist in history because I benefited from his policies. This is what I'm talking about. I'm being practical here. When it comes to politics, I'm very cold, hard. I'm emotionless. You can't get me with no emotional messaging. And this is why I'm saying, hey, America, let's move away from emotionalism. Let's move away from identity politics. Because identity politics is used as a Trojan horse to put in unqualified. This is why Kamala gets hit with the unqualified label. Because she can't take questions. She can't articulate her vision. She can't articulate how she's going to do something different compared to what she's doing right now as VP. Right now as VP, you ask her press secretary, hey, what is some of Kamala's biggest accomplishments? She tries to word salad it and say, it's comprehensive. It's hard to pin down. She's done so many things great, but she hasn't specified not one accomplishment that Kamala has able to execute as vice president, and none of her supporters can either. I'm just saying. If I was a betting man, I'll bet it's Kamala's supporters that can't make an argument without referencing the opposite guy, because the media has conditioned liberals to just be like, hating Trump is enough. Anything but Trump. If we put in a dictator, it doesn't matter as long as it's not Trump. That's the messaging, y'all. This is the drive of the vote blue, no matter who kind of people. I digress.
So my challenge actually to a lot of the Kamala Harris supporters is most of the case that I hear involve invoking Donald Trump. What is the case for Kamala Harris that does not involve referencing Donald Trump at all? I think that's missing right now.
I got that.
And for Republicans, I'd give you similar advice too. What do we stand for? Not just what are we against. What do we actually stand for? Offer that vision. And I think the country will be better off if both sides step up and do that.
I agree with you. I think both parties need to be talking about nothing but the issues at this point, because people are out here hurting, and people want to know how you're going to put money in their pocket and how you're going to keep them safe. Whoever can speak to those things to the next 80 plus days, that's who.
No political party is supposed to be putting money in your pocket. One political party can make you keep more of your money, tax cuts, right? And give you an incentive or an opportunity to put money in your own pocket, right? That's the difference, right? He's still thinking like a Democrat. He's used to the Democrats spoon feeding him his aid and stuff. No, we don't want to give subsidies. We don't, because at the end of the day, it creates an incentive where you're beholden to the government, where you're dependent on the government. And this is that you don't want the government to have that kind of leverage over your life. Like I said, whoever's responsible for your life also has authority over your life. And that's the kind of trade-off people don't understand that they're giving up when they take government benefits. I digress.
Who wins this election?
Mass illegal immigration, economic growth, and staying out of World War III. Who has the better vision to do each of those things? Do both parties agree on that? First of all, that's an open question. Where do we stand on mass illegal immigration? We don't.
63% of Americans agree with mass deportation. Trump wins that. Trump wins that on policy, hands down. If you vote for Kamala for immigration, it's because of other priorities, right? But 63% of Americans, even Hispanic Americans, agree with mass deportation. I agree with mass deportation. Illegal immigration, I already told you, the U.S., the Civil Rights Commission did a study in 2008 showing how illegal immigration hurts Black income opportunities. So illegal immigration hurts all Americans, but Black Americans are most vulnerable. But they like to say replacement theories, white supremacy, talking points. It's a distraction. Race has nothing to do with replacement theory. Replacement theory deals with the nationality, the nation. Look at what happened in what's going on in the United Kingdom. Look how chaotic it is, how anarchic it is. The clash that's going on between the migrants and the native population there. That same thing can happen here. That's what Donald Trump is trying to avoid. This is why 63% of Americans agree with mass deportation. Come on, folks.
Really know what the Democratic position is, but assuming we agree on mass illegal immigration is a bad thing, economic stagnation is a bad thing, and World War III is a bad thing, how do we solve those three problems? Whichever party offers the better solutions deserves to be elected. And that's the way I'm voting in the election as well.
I think we have days, and I think like when you use a term like weird, like you talked about like when you first began everything, you wish you spoke to like the up and coming, like the people who are going to be next at solving some of these issues.
Yeah.
When you get on TikTok and when you get on Twitter, which a lot of people are getting their information from and are being swayed and conversations are being swayed, even media swayed by that, those are the terms that they're using. It's easy, it's digestible. And I think that it's a generational thing where you have to take what you guys are talking about and then partner it with that weird. And I think that's where you're going to get your winner from either way. And I don't think that it's Donald Trump, but.
She's talking about narratives. This is what I'm talking about. Emotionally driven voting. Emotionally driven voting can be decided by narratives instead of the truth. Rational, practical, because at the end of the day, I grew up with nothing ever gets done with your feelings. I don't feel like working out today. Well, you want to be the best or you don't want to be the best. When I used to play basketball, that's what a coach used to say. Oh, you don't want to show up for practice? That's one less rep that you don't have compared to everyone else. And they're going to get ahead of you. Then don't get mad when this person's better than you because they put an extra day in while you decided to stay in and rest. It's the same thing here. Right? I'll give it 2 more minutes and then I'll wrap it up.
I think that it makes sense what she's doing. And I think that she will hopefully get to those hard things, you know, but she has to win the people over. She had to woo us first and we're here.
I think now is the past is past. I mean, I think a lot of people have issues with how she was selected. I personally think going through that process, people don't care about that, right? Whether or not there was a coup staged on Biden. I've said this publicly to the Republicans. Don't focus on that because it's up to the Democrats to decide who they nominate.
Right.
They've made that decision.
But she's also the vice president.
Focus on actual policy. And I have some serious differences with her.
But she's the
policy.
vice president. If a president's not fit to, lead anymore, she's the natural person to take.
Yeah, she's supposed to take over right now. Why they ain't doing that? Right? Letting Biden be a shell of himself in the presidential office, and then she's using essentially the VP job to market for her promotion. Out in come on. Like that's a problem I have. If he's unfit to run, why he's still running the country right now? And it shows you that she's just a wheel in a machine. That's how Kamala Harris comes across to me. She come across to me the same way that Biden come across to me. They're just a figurehead. They're just a face, and the policies and the bureaucracy is what's behind them. That's it. The party, hey, look, this is the party platform, Kamala. Oh, Kamala, don't let no one know your policy positions yet. This is why you lost. Don't use the same policy positions you ran on in 2019. That ain't gonna work, baby girl. Keep your policies vague until we can figure out what's palatable for the American people, and then we're gonna put it out there. That's what I think is going on in the background, honestly. But let me know your thoughts. Did you believe that? I think Vivek schooled them. He felt like a teacher teaching everybody. Look, this is how it goes, and it shows you time and time again. Like, don't be listening to some of these dudes. Like, if they made their living from comedy, entertainment, all that, don't listen to them seriously for political advice. If they bashing you like Ricky Smiley, talking about you gotta block them folks, ignore his ignorant ass. Don't stress about it. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusions, right? And don't get mad at people because they express something differently from you, just because of a skin color. Oh, you black, you supposed to vote Democrat. Says who? Says who? So you saying based on my skin color, I'm supposed to do something? And then these same people get mad when you stereotype them. Make it make sense. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys for watching the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.